Hi, I'm Laris Hutton, a retired military attorney, licensed North Carolina lawyer, and the CEO of Linchpin Property Management. If you're considering renting your home in Fayetteville and don't want to use a property management company, one of the most important things you need to consider is how to screen a tenant and avoid discrimination lawsuits. Any property management company in Fayetteville should be able to assist you in properly screening your tenants. However, landlords who wish to represent their own property interests sometimes don't know the correct method to screen tenants and what is the legally correct way to go about doing it. First, we should start with the federal law related to housing, and we'll discuss the Fair Housing Act. Because the Fair Housing Act is a federal statute, it applies across the United States and to North Carolina and Fayetteville equally. The Fair Housing Act is contained across different laws in the United States Code in sections 42, 3601 through 3619 and section 3631. Provisions in the Fair Housing Act which are illegal include discrimination on the basis of race, religion, national origin, gender, age, family status, physical or mental disability. Additionally, there are other federal laws and North Carolina state laws which apply to the leasing or buying of properties in Fayetteville, but we will only touch on the few that relate to the tenant screening process for your property. In our opinion, if you decide to manage your own property, we recommend you adopt an approach to your tenant screening process that eliminates most of the common pitfalls landlords in Fayetteville face. Additionally, your process should be consistent and fair across the board. Being overly strict within the confines of what you are legally allowed to do is always the best course of action. And remember, what you do with one tenant, you should always do with all. Let's discuss some examples to illustrate a good policy to follow. If you order a credit report on one adult, which we will recommend you always do, then all subsequent adults should have their credit reviewed. In other words, if you have two applicants for the same property, then you should order a credit report on both of them. But when ordering the credit report, ensure that you are doing it in a legally acceptable manner, which includes having the potential tenant consent for the report. The next major tenant screening area for property owners without a property management company is the criminal background check. This is an area where landlords may find themselves in legal bind if they don't check out all applicants' backgrounds. If, for example, you have an applicant who is a police officer and another who is a restaurant worker, although you may believe the police officer is an upstanding citizen and doesn't need a credit report, you should run a background check on both applicants. Additionally, never make a decision based on personal preferences. Treat the decisions you make from a business perspective. Remove any personal bias out of the equation and base your decision on the predetermined neutral process you have in writing. Remember, if you have your policy in writing, you're less likely to experience a loss in a lawsuit. In order to limit your exposure to legal tax, again, decisions should not be based on personal preferences. Each applicant should be considered a business decision that should be measured only by your predetermined written criteria. Last, and we can't state this enough, always make sure your process is lawful. There's a vast body of law that governs housing, and even though you are not a property management professional, legally you are bound by the same laws as if you had a real estate license. The law does not recognize a different standard. At Linchpin Property Management, we are experts at legally and properly conducting tenant screenings. If you have any questions about your current practice, please feel free to contact us for a review, and we will work with you free of charge to provide you with a clear, concise roadmap to managing your property.